Let me tell you something. A driver don't pick the car. Car pick the driver. It's a mystical bond between man and machine. It's a mystical bond between man.
What's up, you beautiful collectors and Transformer fans? Once again, it's the one and only Optibotimus coming at you with another video review. And on today's episode, thanks to all of the absolutely incredible contributions from my Optibotimus Plus channel members, we're going to be taking a look at the new Transformers Studio Series Deluxe Class Wheeljack, as he appeared in the Transformers Bumblebee film. Now, for full disclosure, this figure was acquired from an overseas seller. However, he is available for pre-order right now online at places such as Big Bad Toy Store. And as a massive Wheeljack fan, this was one I was really looking forward to. We now know that the Bumblebee film is getting a lot of actual figures from that very opening scene in the film. But what's interesting is none of them, with the exception of Bumblebee and Optimus Prime, had vehicle modes. So the folks at Hasbro had to take the robot mode and somehow create vehicle modes for them. And so far what we've seen, they've done a tremendous job with it. For Wheeljack here, as you can see, very Cybertronian in terms of his vehicle mode, as all of them really should be. You got his weapon right here that can store right in the top. You got two little slots on the inside of that little gray bit that you can connect that little tab on, so you can just slot that in right there. If I can, there we go, something like that. Come on. Just like that. And then you got a little center cannon, which does look really cool. But the overall look of this guy is fantastic. Definitely has a Wheeljack-ish style to him with the coloring and the overall look, but does have that Cybertronian sort of feel. And if you do have the Bumblebee figure, there's a lot of similarities. It's like it shares kind of the same skeletal structure, despite the fact that it is massively, heavily, and extensively retooled. But for your size comparison there you go. Obviously, they are roughly going to be about the same. This is the original release with the battle damage mask. Stay tuned. I will be taking a look at the new buzzworthy Bumblebee version with the unhelmeted mask. Or unhelmeted head, I should say. But I really do like the Cybertronian style they went with here. You can see the front section here has this little angular bit, which really does look cool. A lot of this is a translucent blue plastic that allows you to have the windshield here, and then these front bits right here are kind of like lights, which you get, as you can see, when you have the light hitting it, has a real cool glow effect. He also does have a slightly off-white color, which does look nice. It's not as, stark white as like that. In general, just a really solid looking vehicle, and really does make me excited about some of those other ones that we're getting, like Ratchet and Brawn. There's a lot of characters in that opening scene that really made a lot of us G1 fans geek out with excitement. There's a lot of people that, I still like the Michael Bay movies, but a lot of us, really kind of wanted to see that kind of look, and Travis Knight finally gave it to us. But a solid looking vehicle, rolls very nicely, just really a fun looking car. Now for his transformation, first come here to this top section, you want to kind of pull this away, which will kind of loosen all this up, and then you can kind of pull this section away. It does kind of slightly tab in to some little posts and everything right up there. Just kind of loosen that, get that kind of pulled away. You can take this piece right here, fold that down, revealing his Autobot logo, and then you can take this and tuck this up underneath here. Then separate these bits along the sides. Again, kind of wiggle those away from the body. They tab in very securely. I really do like the overall engineering on this. And then fold these feet down, getting that kind of out of the way. You can take this section here, which holds his head. You can rotate that around, and then come around here to the side. And this part does get a little bit tricky. You want to move this piece out. Let's get that. Move that up and out of the way. It does have like a double hinge thing right here, but this piece right here does pop off a little bit easier than I would like. You can kind of just see it's sandwiched in there, but kind of hinge that back on both sides there. Then you want to separate this piece, and get that a little out of the way. You can rotate this around like that, getting that kind of out of the way here, bringing that all the way around. This gets a little bit rotationally challenging. There we go. Bring that all around. And then this piece right here, you want to pull that up, rotate that all the way around, and get the foot out of the way. And then this piece right here, when you bring this around, that will lock in right there along the side. So let's do that. No, well, maybe. And you can kind of just sandwich that, locking that in. There you go. Get that. So let's do that on this side as well. So we're going to get that out of the way. This piece here kind of pulls away. Kind of keep that out. Then you can rotate this piece around. Did I go the wrong way again? Yeah, I did. So rotate that around towards the front bit, and that's going to get out of the way. And get the foot section there, and that's going to be there. All right, so then this piece, pull this up, rotate that around. Then this whole thing, yeah, I kind of went the wrong way as well. Directionally challenged is my MO. There you go. Get that going around there. And then that's going to come around here to this. Collapse that down, and then this piece will sandwich forward and get that. What are you doing? Get that up out of the way. Sandwich that right there. Now you got a little tab and slot section here in the back. Just lock these little bits in right there. Set that on the side. And then this whole section here, this is real fun. This rotates all the way around. Just like so. Come on, get out of the way. There we go. Just like that. Then you can take this entire assembly, rotate him at the waist, and this is going to come up and will collapse down on itself. That'll lock into place there. Then bring these two bits together. You can bring these arms out, kind of flare those out just like that. And then take the head, bring this around. You got a little hinge section here, but before you put that all the way down, you got these little posts on the side, straighten out his head, bring that down, and that's going to lock in on the side of those little shoulder bits. And then these come up here and we'll slot in. Where you at? There we go. Locking that down in place. Going to angle these arms. Play with those little hips. Take these little sections, rotate these out and around. Get them all situated. And when you're done, there you have Wheeljack in his very, at least from what we saw in the, I don't know, 2 seconds that it was on screen, a very accurate looking robot mode. And this guy turned out fantastic. As I mentioned previously, it is really impressive that Hasbro was able to take a robot mode design and engineer an unseen vehicle mode, allowing the robot mode to really still maintain the look that he had in the film. Now for his gun here, as you can see, he can hold it fairly nice. It's actually a pretty big gun, which is pretty impressive. It is done in a really nice gunmetal gray. Great sculpt work throughout the entire thing. Nothing overly spectacular. If you didn't want to have him hold it, you have a little hole here in the back that you could plug there, or you got a little post there that you could have a little kind of side thing on his back if you really wanted to. But again, great looking figure. Coming in to take a closer look, specifically that head sculpt. That is a gorgeous head sculpt. Very much a live action Wheeljack look. That is really very cool. Of course, you got that blue section right here. It does kind of get a little bit of light piping through there, which does look pretty cool. Gorgeous silver, nice blue for the eyes. Gray looks really nice. Even when you look at the chest with the red and the green section right up there, that all looks really good. Autobot logo. You do have the little wing sections here. Unfortunately, you can't really attach this as a shoulder cannon, or can you? No. Well, you got a little slot right there. I don't know if you can do it. Doesn't really, maybe on that side. Doesn't really look like you can, but there's really not much you can do to kind of have that attached. That would be kind of cool. But overall, I mean, really very nice. He cleans up really well. Not a lot of kibble on him at all. It does kind of have a little bit of a big chest, but I mean, that's not terribly bad or anything. I guess kibble-wise, you could say that these pieces are kibbly. If you wanted to, you could remove them because they just kind of mushroom peg in there, and that does clean up his arms a little bit better, but realistically, it doesn't bother me really all that much. Wheeljack's always kind of had like little panels on his arms, so that's kind of a nice little throwback. They do have that little hinge on there, so you can kind of pivot those around a little bit, mostly to kind of flare out some things for his vehicle mode. That off-white color looks good. The gunmetal gray and some silver throughout the entire body really is stellar looking. Come down to the legs, and those green stripes kind of add some nice accents to them. So overall, the color is really solid. Now, for comparison, if I come in here a little bit, let's bring in the previous release, the B127. As you can see, this is the original release with the helmeted head on there. But one thing that's actually nice is that they're both deluxe size figures, but as you can see, Bumblebee is a little bit shorter than Wheeljack, which I do appreciate. Wheeljack should be a slightly taller character, and I like that that kind of carries over here. It's nice to see. I honestly, I didn't expect that. For his articulation, he does have a ball joint here at the head. Pretty good range of motion with that. You do have ball joints here at the shoulders, allowing a full range of motion. These little back sections here are on little mushroom caps, so you can articulate that around, so you can kind of get some extra flair going on with there. Does rotate at the elbow, does have two bends at the elbow. Nothing at the wrist, unfortunately, but doesn't bother me too terribly bad because at least you can rotate it up at the elbow. Does have a waist swivel. You have ball joints here at the hips. You also do have a swivel at the upper part of the thigh. Bend at the knee. Ankles actually do some really good stuff. You do have a little bit of forward and back, and they do tilt in and out. Not a ton, but you can see you can get a much wider stance with him. One thing that is nice is that everything kind of fills in pretty decently there, so that there's not a lot of ugly gapping or anything of that nature. So that's pretty decent. Does kind of have wide hips, but I mean, wide hips, big belly. But I'm perfectly okay with them. I mean, this is what a lot of people really would have loved to have seen in the original Bay movies, and at least finally we got a look that kind of resembles that, and we're getting a lot of it with that Travis Knight opening scene from Transformers Bumblebee. Now, for his transformation back, first we're going to take these, tuck those around just like that, pull his chest, oh wait, well, kind of separate that, pull his chest out, and extend all that up, bringing that all the way around just like so. Kind of take his head and straighten that out. Now, when you do want to go back into his vehicle mode, you do have to rotate his head, which is kind of annoying, but, you know, it's not terribly bad. Bring up his forearms to his elbows, and then these pieces here, kind of get that out of the way. These are going to rotate down and around. Keeping that all together. That'll come up and sit right there. You can sandwich that together, but you don't really need to just yet. Kind of keep that out of the way. Legs do get kind of fun. You do have to pull this section up, then rotate that around. Do that on this side as well. Rotate that around. Oh, then you want to rotate him at the hips. This piece right here is going to separate a little bit, and then this is going to rotate around to the back. Kind of straighten that whole section out. Bring that all the way down. Collapse the shin piece right there. Do that on both sides. Rotate this around, lining up the side section right there. And you can bring these all the way around, covering those gaps on the side on those double hinges. Bring that together. Come on. Tab that in. There we go. Tab this down and in. Bring that together. Lock this into place. Lock this back section into place. Gonna keep that up. Makes it a little bit easier. And then sandwich these two pieces. Locking those in. And this is where I was saying you have to bring this up and kind of turn his head just to kind of set it up underneath there. Then bring this down. Lock all that down into place. Then give this back section a little push. Locking that together. It does get a little bit tricky. And then you can bring, there's little tiny tabs right here. Kind of bring that up and then kind of flare that out. Situate everything. And then when you're done, there you have Wheeljack back in his vehicle mode. And as I've said multiple times in this video, I am really very impressed with what Hasbro was able to do. Taking a robot mode that we had previously seen and engineering a vehicle mode that never existed. They created a very cool Cybertronian look for this guy that does fit in with what we saw previously for other vehicles like B-127. And while utilizing almost, like I said, the same skeletal structure of B-127, much like they did with this version of Bumblebee, they really did a great job of retooling it to give us almost a completely new figure. The transformation, it does seem similar in some aspects, like the little side panels here and then the front section becoming the feet and all that kind of stuff. But there's enough that's different about it that does make you feel like it's not just a rehash of something. And then we get a robot mode that absolutely looks terrific. They nailed that likeness. And I absolutely cannot recommend this figure enough to you guys. He is well worth adding to your collection. And I'm not just saying that because I am a massive Wheeljack fan. The toy's still pretty darn good regardless. But beyond that, guys, that's about it. As I mentioned, this figure is available right now for pre-order online at places like Big Bad Toy Store. So for that, I'll put a link right down there in the video description where you can go to BBTS and check out availability on this guy, as well as the rest of the wide range of Transformer figures. And as always, remember that the real trouble with the world is that too many people grow up. Thank you all for watching and taking the time to be a kid.